Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I hope you are as well.
I am.
Very good. The SAP reset date, please.
It's July 17th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Greetings, ST3 over. Disconnected. Ready to pair.
Good afternoon, Ms. Falk.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
I know that we reset that case from last Tuesday. Has anyone reached out to you in that regard?
No, Your Honor, I haven't received any additional notifications. That was the Jew case, correct? Or no. It was the other
With Gatis, I believe that.
Gatis. No, I
Gatis,
have not
right.
received any updates as opposed to Miss Gatis.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Were you able to establish placement for your daughter?
We have, I don't, we have it, but it's not finalized yet because they've got to do an interview. They would have to do an interview process with her. And as far as directly, they have to talk to the person. And so we have to arrange that intake call. There's several, I've checked on, we have 3 approved places right immediately. And then at the end of the month, you could switch coverage if you needed a different kind of program. So I have places, I just wasn't sure what the court's direction as far as these are 30-day places, 30-day inpatient, and then they have a PHP program afterwards, which would last normally another 2 to 4 weeks.
Do you know when placement can be established? I believe that I've set bond in that matter, but it was contingent on her going to having a place to go. Do you know when you will have a place for her to reside or to go?
I can't say for sure it's subject to bed space, but they have to complete an interview with her, so I'd have to coordinate a phone call into the jail to do the intake interview to that sort of thing. That's just the process. I think it's difficult. It's just going to take some time, and I have not talked to Elise about these issues directly because just not a lot of time between the last 2 before the prior hearing, and I just left downtown Fulton County.
Okay, no, I understand. Well, the bond's going to stand until there's placement. So I'm happy to put this on another calendar, and since I have dealt with it, I'm happy to put it on one of my calendars. But that'll have to go on a state all-purpose calendar at this point. Who's representing Ms. Gaddis this afternoon? Position number 10. Mr. McLean? And if everyone can mute themselves, well, if you're not speaking directly to me, if you can mute yourself, I'm getting some feedback from somewhere. Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
That's probably Ms. Tucker.
Ms. Tucker, are you with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we're discussing position number 10, the Gaddis matter that I reset from Tuesday's calendar. I need to put this on an SAP calendar as there has not been established anywhere for her to go at this point. I'm not sure if the 8th, is that enough time for you, Mr. Gaddis? You have to unmute yourself, Mr. Gaddis.
Is there a calendar after that?
Oh, yeah. The next calendar that I have will be the 15th.
I think that's more real. I can have things more in place on the 15th than I can on the 8th. The 8th is tight because I've got to get that jail interview.
Okay,
that's 2 hours of attendance, so it's that kind of rules.
Okay, so I'll get an update on the 15th. We'll put it on the SAP calendar for July 15th. Courtroom 2, that's position number 10, Miss Lisa Gaddis. I don't know if she's going to be in that courtroom or not.
Your Honor, she is not. She is still at the jail now. She
Okay,
just called me from the jail. She's not present.
All right, well, very good. We will let her know that she is being reset to the state all-purpose calendar on the 15th.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. I'll see her back then. I've set that for my calendar since I have I've been dealing with this matter, and I don't want to put it off on someone else. Okay, so Ms. Tucker, if you can make sure to let the SAP calendars know, attorneys know that this is coming their way, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. If nothing further this afternoon, Mr. Gaddis, you're free to go.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice holiday.
Do the same. Thank you, sir. Courtroom 2, are you ready for my announcement?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, very good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we're providing you with the assistance of a public defender or conflict defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Where would you all like to go first?
We can go to position 12. Mr. Hollis.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Hollis. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0037455H with theft by taking. Is there a history? Good afternoon, Mr. Hollis.
Who is this?
This
I
is
had to
position
come out and
six-
come back
position-
in.
That's fine. Position number 12, Mr. Hollis.
16 on probation out of Walton County, theft by taking, criminal damage in the first. On probation in Fulton, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. 2024 failure to appear. 23 probation. 21 parole violation. 2020 felony. I'm sorry, not felony, but fleeing, theft by taking, criminal damage to property conviction. 2019, 18, and 17 probation. 2016 felony theft by receiving conviction. 2016 failure to appear, and a 2015 CWAC conviction.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened July 2nd, 2025. Miss India Ezard stated she had been staying with the defendant with an apartment leaseholder, Mr. Tyrese Jackson, and she had left her 2 dogs in the care of Mr. Jackson. She wasn't present at the home, but she was told when she got home that the defendant had stolen one of her dogs. She was informed that the defendant pulled up in an old red pickup truck, that he then took one of the dogs, placed it in the pickup truck, and then his cousin drove off with the dog as well as the defendant. The defendant never identified who his cousin was that picked up this dog. And when they spoke with Miss Ezard, she stated she knew both men had never given the defendant permission to watch her dog or take it anywhere. And when they detained the defendant, he said he could show them where the dog was, but neither the dog nor his quote unquote cousin nor the red truck were present. At that point, he was placed into custody and charged with theft by taking. The dog is a special breed. It's a white doggo Argentino, which is a special breed of dog that's valued, according to Miss Ezard, in excess of $5,000. The defendant already has 2 prior theft cases between 1682 and 1689, which would make this a felony case technically. We are going to refer this case to the DA's office after court. But in the meantime, we are requesting a $2,000 surety bond, stay away from Miss Ezard, India Ezard, and stay away from her residence, which is located at 882 Fox Street, apartment 4. We would at this time like to sound for Miss Ezard if she is present and would like to speak. We are also requesting no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And again, this is based on his history of theft cases where he has been convicted, as well as just his lengthy history in general. We believe he is a risk of reoffense. That's all for the state.
Ms. Ezard is on the line, wishes to address the court. It's your opportunity. If so, I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I will swear you in.
Hello, Judge.
Yep.
I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. If you would like to speak to the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to tell the court that prior to this incident, me and the defendant didn't have any bad situations happening. I think it was just due to an heightened emotional trigger and a lack of sleep because he had just recently been arrested and he had been confiding in me and telling me about how his sister had passed and he was really wanting to do different, but due to my lack of time and availability to attend to those emotional despairs he was having, I guess he like just did some I got my dog back, so I'm good. I wish him the best and I want him to get his life together. I would not wish for him to, you know what I mean. I don't want to bring any more strife on him. He's a young guy, promising music career. I just want him to just do better and respect personal boundaries and space. The dogs are like family, so I'm already going through a lot. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am. I'm happy
Thanks.
that you got your dog back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let's see, who's representing Mr. Hollis?
Ms. McLeod.
Ms. McLeod, are you with me?
Yes, Your Honor. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
good afternoon. This is Mr. Hollis. Were you with us?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay.
I heard what was said, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes,
very good.
my client is 27 years old, Your Honor. He tells me that he is currently not employed, but he has prospects for a job to start soon. So, of course, he's not in a position to pay for bond. So I'm asking the court to consider a signature bond for him so he can get out of jail, especially considering that the alleged victim says that she got her dog back. Nothing further, Your Honor.
It will be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hollis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
And that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good holiday, Ms. McLeod. Be
Thank you. The
safe.
same to you, Your Honor.
See you next week. Okay, bye-bye.
Next is position 18, Ms. McCulla.
Your Honor, may I interject an introduction to this case for a sec?
May I address her first and then allow you to, okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. McCulla. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003758H with criminal trespass. It's my understanding that this is Ms. McCulla's first arrest. Yes, Mr. McLean, what would you like to tell the court?
Oddly enough, with two different spellings of the first vowel in their last name, Brianna's mom is in the tank a few feet away for smashing Brianna's phone. Brianna is in here, Miss McCulla is in here for breaking a window. So I've chatted. I may have missed a memo saying that the elder, Miss McCulla, is taken care of and NOD'd, or I may have missed that, but I don't see any hearings set for her. So after we're through with this, if we could just make sure she doesn't fall in the cracks.
Can you provide me the elder Miss McCulla's first name?
Sharon, that's regular spelling.
Okay, I will address that one while ASG Sirocco handles this case.
Right. Instead of MCCULLOUGH, it's MCCOLLOUGH.
Okay, thank you.
Understood.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Sirocco.
Good afternoon, Judge. This incident took place June 4th of this year at 355 Chilton Drive, Northwest in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a damage to property call. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the caller, Mr. Darian McCulla, now with an O, who advised that he called 911 because his sister damaged his bedroom window. He explained that he was in his bedroom when he heard knocking at the door, but refused to answer. Roughly 5 minutes later, a brick was thrown through the window, landing in his bedroom. After the incident, he explained that he looked through the window and saw his sister, the defendant, walking away from the home. He called his mother, Miss Sharon McCulla, the owner of the property, then the police. While he was waiting for police, the defendant returned and started arguing with her mother, Sharon. The officer observed that damaged window and a brick inside the home. At that point, defendant was placed under arrest. I don't see anything about this being a dual arrest or anything of that like. A warrant was issued for the arrest of the defendant anyways, Judge, the state's recommendation for this case, given the absence of a criminal history here, is a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Miss McCulla or Darian McCulla. Stay away from the 355 Chilton Drive, Northwest Atlanta address, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Has your office reached out to Darian?
We have tried making contact. We have not spoken with Darian, or now we know why, Miss McCulla in this case.
Thank you. If Darian McCulla is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Yes, Mr. McClain.
Your Honor, Latrice's iPhone is probably the grandmother, because I spoke to Latrice Sappho. If Your Honor does order that Brianna McCulla stay away from Chilton, Latrice, the grandmother, can take her in for a couple of nights. She's fine with that. We joked about, you got to follow the house rules and can't tear up her house. And the grandmother has a sense of humor and said, oh, she can tear up my house. But be that as it may, nobody's going to tear up anything now. And we have no objection to the state's proposal.
Okay, given that no one's heard from Darian, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Darian McCulla. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
What
Good luck
up,
to you, man.
Sharon McCulla, Judge, because it was her property.
Say it again?
Any order on contact with respect to Sharon McCulla? It was her property, was technically the window there.
I think that's the mother, so I'm not going to keep her away from her mother, especially since there's no allegations against the mother except for that it was her window.
No further violent contact? Would that be appropriate? It sounds like they were.
Oh, that's fine. Well, we all should have no further violent contact with anyone, so no further violent contact is fine with Sharon McCulla. Okay, very good. Who do we have next?
Next is position 13, Ms. Johansson.
Good afternoon, Ms. Johansson. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003744C with criminal trespass. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Johansson's first arrest. Yes, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. And my apologies. I had to switch track. I was looking up Sharon McCulla's case. She does in fact have a case. She is in fact in the jail, was arrested yesterday, so that it doesn't so she doesn't have to wait until Saturday to be seen. I have requested through my team that we go ahead and accuse the case and do it as an add-on so we can address it today, Your Honor.
Okay.
In Miss Johansson's case, this incident occurred on July 1st of 2025 at 11046 Alpharetta Highway in Roswell. Officers spoke to Trent Bedingfield. He stated they had been living together. He had been living with the defendant for about 2 years, and the relationship has been rocky between the two of them. Miss Johansson became verbally aggressive with him. He stated he had enough, wanted to leave, so he began to pack his things. Mr. Bedingfield then stated that the defendant grabbed his things, so he struck out at her to prevent her from grabbing them, and then she began pushing and slapping him. Mr. Bedingfield then said he wanted to leave, so he continued to pack, And Miss Johansson was still angry, so she took a vape that she had and threw it at the television that belongs to him, which caused the screen to break. The television, he estimated, was worth approximately $800. As far as Miss Johansson is concerned, this is her first offense. We are agreeable to an SOB through pretrial services. No further contact with, I believe he is, I'm not sure if he is still in the home or not, but no further contact with Mr. Trent Bedingfield. Stay away from 11046 Alpharetta Highway in Roswell or have a one-time police escort to see if he still lives there. If he does not, she can retake possession of that residence. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we're also going to ask for one-day anger awareness. That's all for the state. We would like to sound at this time for Trent Bedingfield.
No. Your opportunity. Does not appear so. Yes, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, I think a signature bond is appropriate. The no contact sounds appropriate. I'm not so informed as to speak on the stay away, who's on the lease, who ought to be there. If we can get a little more information. Ms. Johansson, Ms. Johansson, do you think that, who's on the lease there?
I am on the lease.
Okay, and do you have any idea if he plans to stay or be evicted or leave immediately, or do you have any notion?
He moved in with, he went with his friend.
Oh, he moved in with his friend. So if we can confirm her belief that he has moved out into another friend's place, that would be super.
Okay, it will be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. Bedingfield. She can go back to the incident location on one occasion with law enforcement. If Mr. Bedingfield does not live there, she may remain. If not, she must get her belongings and find somewhere else to reside. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Johansson.
And I have a.
Next is position 2, Ms. Brandon.
Missed the part.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brandon. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003750C with unlawful conduct during a 911 call or otherwise contacts 911 and makes a false report. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Brandon's first arrest. Yes, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. We would, on this case in particular, ask for a social worker visit. It appears that in this case, the defendant has repeatedly called 911 claiming that she has been shot. Obviously, and I'm sure Your Honor can understand why that's very concerning for 911. So they obviously immediately send someone out. And the last 2 times they sent someone out to the residence, she in fact had not been shot. This 3rd time they sent someone out to the residence, she was complaining that her head hurt. And so at that point, she was placed under arrest. The other 2 calls were made on June 25th and June 26th. And so the state does have some concerns that she keeps calling 911, making these claims. We are concerned there may be an MH issue, which is why we're asking for a social worker visit. Otherwise, we're asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. We are asking for that social worker visit, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and that she not call 911 unless it is for a legitimate emergency. That's all for the state.
Thank you. Ms. Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor. We have no objections to the state's recommendations as Ms. Brandon is 39 years of age. She's an Atlanta native with a high school education with no priors before this incident. So we do feel that a signature bond is appropriate in this instance.
Okay, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, a social worker visit to assess for a BHET. Do not call 911 unless it's an actual emergency. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Brandon.
I had a question. Was there an announcement for Ms. Jakira? She was not on the calendar, but she was on the poll sheet.
Can you give me that name again?
Shakira,
Or a booking number would be great.
251-2046.
So I think there may have been some confusion on the state's part. We have a Hester, and I will say the clerk asked me about Miss Hester. I thought she was talking about Miss Precious Hester. I did not know there was another Hester. So we will need to do I will ask Miss Thornton, our litigation, our support staff member, if she can also open up a case on Miss Hester, the other Miss Hester, Jakara. Seem to have a lot of duplicates today, Your Honor.
Okay. So you just want me to hold her till the end? All
Yes,
right.
please. That will give us enough time to try to open up a case on her and get it worked up.
Yes, ma'am. All right. We can go to position 1, Mr. Benton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Benton. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003743A with 2 counts of battery, 2 counts of simple battery, and pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at another. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
What's the name, Judge?
Is position number 1, Mr. Benton?
He got an open 2022 case out of Philly, it appears. Simple assault, reckless endangering. Open driving without a valid license here in Georgia. I got a 2019 battery DV, not guilty.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. And just to let the court know in, the spirit of candor, this defendant was arrested on June 30th of 2025. We were attempting to have the case transferred to the DA's office. It was not. We did accuse the case, but due to a miscommunication on the state's part, it did not get added to the calendar until today. So for that reason, whatever bond will be given today will have to be an SOB, either through pretrial services or a signature bond through the jail. In this case, Your Honor, this incident happened on June 2nd of 2024. Officers were dispatched to 1700 Stanton Road. They spoke to Miss Tiana Hopkins, who stated that the defendant owed her $100. She began arguing with him over the money that he owed her, and he in return then called her a name, told her to leave. He called her a B, told her to leave, grabbed her wrist, resulting in damage to her Apple Watch. She also had scratches and bruises on her wrist. And despite her pleas for him to stop holding her, he then grabbed her and began choking her. After he released her the second time, he approached her with the money, presented it. He then threw the money outside, and she did try to get her money, but was only able to recover $80. I will also state that during this incident, Ms. Hopkins stated the defendant pointed a handgun at her during this incident between the two of them, where he was being very violent with her and grabbing her and choking her. We will, due to the circumstances, we are asking for a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 3. We are also asking for no further contact with Tiana Hopkins, that the defendant stay away from 1700 Stanton Road Southwest in Atlanta, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we're also going to request anger awareness classes as part of the bond. I will say the defendant is currently being held on a $5,000 surety bond on a felony theft by receiving stolen property under 25 PI 005244. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Ms. Tiana Hopkins.
Ms. Hopkins is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Benton is a 24-year-old Atlanta native with a 10th grade education. He is currently employed at UPS. He also works for the state as a caregiver for his 82-year-old grandmother. He is also the primary caregiver for his son. So we have no objections to the state's recommendation for a signature bond on this charge. And we also have no objections for a stay away for the incident location, as well as no contact with Ms. Hopkins.
Given the situation in the case, for the battery charges will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 for each charge. For the simple battery charge will be a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial level 3 for each charge. For the pointer or aim in a gun will be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Makes for a total of a $25,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Relinquish all firearms, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with the alleged victim, stay away from her residential address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Benton.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. I have position number 4, Ms. Brookshshire, and can you please read the ladies their rights? Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, Francois. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We are providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. Brookshshire, you have been charged in case 25 CR 003749Y with battery family violence and 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
2025 failure to appear. 2024 criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. I think that's open.
Spark.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on June 30th of 2025 at 3959 Fox Hunt Lane, apartment G in East Point at around 2 p.m. The defendant spoke with Mr. DeAndre Cinnamon, who stated that the defendant and he were in an argument because the defendant would not leave the home. The defendant then grabbed her keys, swung toward the left side of Mr. Cinnamon's head, causing a small cut. The officers observed the cut and the video, which showed the aftermath of the altercation where the defendant was walking away from Mr. Cinnamon with the keys in her hand. Officers did note in the warrant that this was the 2nd time they had been out there that day due to a domestic altercation, the first one being at 11:30 that morning. So within about 3.5 hours, they were back at the location for this incident. We did have a chance to speak with Mr. Cinnamon. He stated that they are not together, but they are working on their relationship for the sake of their child. He stated this occurred because of an argument between the two of them, that he went to sleep, and at about 10 a.m. she grabbed their son from him, saying she was sleeping with someone, and then and eventually hit him with the keys. He said he called the police. He said she called the police and tried to lie. And when the police came, they saw the bloody cut on his head. He showed them from the video, and they found her at fault. He does want for her to have a bond and to also have anger management. We are asking for an SOB through pretrial services, no further contact with DeAndre Cinnamon, stay away from 3959 Fox Hunt Lane, apartment G in East Point. We are agreeable to third-party transfer of the child, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we are also asking for 3 days of anger awareness. I understand that Mr. Cinnamon does want to continue contact with the defendant. However, our real concern here is the officers had to come out twice in the same day because there was clearly a heated altercation ongoing between the two. I just believe there needs to be more of a cooling off period at this point, Your Honor. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for DeAndre Cinnamon.
Cinnamon is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Brookshshire is 25 years of age. She's been a Georgia resident for the last 10 years. She's obtained her high school education and she served in the Army for 4 years, and she's currently in the reserve while working at Amazon. She is the primary caregiver for her 3 children. So we have no objections to the state's recommendation for a SOB given her limited criminal history. However, we are objecting to the state's request for a stay away from the incident location at 3959 Fox Hunt Lane, Southwest. It is her primary residence. The alleged victim here, Mr. DeAndre Cinnamon, he does have a different residence at 7765 Melanie Drive, Douglasville, Georgia. As he does not reside at the incident location, we are asking that she be allowed to return home upon making bond. She does also have 3 children, so we don't want her and her children to be displaced due to this incident. We have no objection to a third-party transfer of the children, as well as no contact with the alleged victim if the court feels that is appropriate.
Okay. For the battery, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For each of the simple batteries, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 3 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Cinnamon. She can go back to the Fox Point Lane address with law enforcement. If Mr. Cinnamon resides there, she needs to collect her belongings and go somewhere else. If he's not there and does not reside there, she of course can reside there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Ms. Brookshshire, let me make this clear to you that you and Mr. Cinnamon at this time can have no contact. No contact means absolutely no contact. No personal contact, obviously, no phone contact, no internet contact, no social media contact, no contact whatsoever. I want you to transfer your children or the minor between you through a third party so that you can both have visitations. But if I find out that you've had contact, then this bond's going to be withdrawn. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. And you said the bond was 4,000 SOB pretrial level 1, correct?
Yes, that's correct, Francois.
Thank you.
Next is position 14, Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003766C with simple battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
13. Got an open battery, DV, simple battery out of state court. On probation for obstruction. 2025 fade to appear, 2 of them. 2021 FTA, 2018 fade to appear. 2018 disorderly conduct conviction.
Thank you, Mr. Sirocco.
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place February 25th, 2025 at 5250 Jonesboro Road in Fulton, in Union City, excuse me. Law enforcement responded to a domestic dispute call and upon arrival made contact with the victim, in this case, Ms. Jamisha Harris, who explained that the defendant, her ex-boyfriend, and the father of her children had picked her up. And she explained that they had gotten into a verbal altercation on their way to pick up the kids due to answers she provided to his questioning of her. She explained that the defendant then punched her in the head with a closed fist while she was seated in the passenger seat, and that the defendant stated he was about to beat her and was attempting to push her out of the vehicle, causing her to push away from him and ultimately get out and run. The defendant chased her on foot before returning to the vehicle. Then the officer found the defendant, gave him verbal commands to stop, with which he did not comply, and the officer engaged in a foot pursuit with him. The officer deployed had to deploy his department-issued taser to stop him. but it didn't make positive contact, and ultimately a warrant was issued for his arrest. There are several prior willful obstruction arrests, one from this year in Clayton, as I believe pretrial mentioned. There's a disorderly conduct conviction from 2018 that was actually amended, 2 counts that were amended from willful obstruction, and a prior case from 2021. So this isn't his first rodeo with that. The FTAs are concerning, the 2025 out of Clayton. That was just last month. 2025 from, that's April 2025, then 2021 and 2018. With respect to the open cases, he has 18 CR 006-496C, battery family violence and simple battery family violence. He's accused of grabbing the victim, a different one of his children's mothers, and dragged her across the concrete, causing scrapes and striking her in the face, causing swelling. He FTA'd on that in 2022, but originally he was given a $3,000 surety, and then later the opportunity to complete diversion for that. But it appears he either didn't complete everything or didn't show up to court, because there was that FTA. So it may have been both. In addition to that there's another open case, the 17 CR 028-474C, forgery in the 4th. So that's open as well. Given the open case for family violence with a similar situation in terms of relationship here, and his prior willful obstructions, the state's recommendations that the bond remain set at $7,500 total surety, and that he be required to complete FFIB, have no further contact with Miss Jamisha Harris, stay away from 5250 Jonesboro Road in Union City, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and we have not been able to reach Miss Harris as of yet. We will continue those efforts, but we would nonetheless ask the court sound for him. Miss Harris at this time.
Ms. Harris is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean?
Mr. Jones has a college education, studied business administration, has a bachelor's degree in that. He's been involved in chef work as a cook at restaurants, personal care also. He's done that sort of work. He has an address on Creel, so that the location, conditions of bond will not be a problem. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond if that is possible. If that is not possible, we would ask the court to consider a $1,000 or possibly a $1,500 surety.
For the simple battery, it will be a $4,000 good bond. For the obstruction, a $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $5,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from her residential address. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jones.
Next is position 19, the Milwaukee.
Your Honor, can you state that bond again on Mr. Jones?
5,000 good. 4 on the simple battery.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good afternoon, Mr. Milwaukee. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003759D with 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. On probation for on probation, simple battery DV out of Gwinnett. 2011 suspended license, no law, and he is wanted out of Gwinnett.
Thank you. Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place July 2nd at 1175 Hembry Road in Roswell. Law enforcement was dispatched in reference to a domestic call, and upon arrival made contact with the reporting party. Miss Latasha Ducksworth, who explained that no issues had occurred that day, but she had requested officers to actually come and mediate between herself and her boyfriend, the defendant, due to a previous physical and verbal history. Miss Ducksworth stated that the defendant has been using methamphetamine and has violent tendencies, and a background check revealed that he actually had an active warrant out of Gwinnett, as pretrial mentioned, for probation violation. And that was on the simple battery family violence case that he received NOLO treatment for, it looks like. He was to have no further violent contact with Latasha Duckworth. And that was the incident that took place in Gwinnett there. Beyond that, officers were looking for him, canvassing the area, and then saw the defendant who tipped his hat forward at the officer to conceal his identity. And then he was then located on the sidewalk outside the entrance at the location, which is at 1175 Henry Road. That's the in-town and suites apartment there. And then approached him, explained that he had an active warrant for his arrest, telling him he needs to put his hands behind his back. He started clenching his fists, stiffening his arms to resist arrest, started to pull away, and the officers had to take him down to the ground to secure him. And even after they picked him up, he continued to resist and try and pull away, all the way up until he was placed in the patrol vehicle where he was pushing his feet, all that. While he was in the back seat, he also tried to remove the handcuffs. But he was ultimately arrested, transported. With respect to prior offenses with law enforcement, there are prior giving false info cases. I believe the one from 2011 was dismissed, and then another one from 2010 that wasn't prosecuted, but not his first rodeo with this sort of offense against law enforcement, although I would describe this differently. The state's recommendation is $1,000 surety, $500 on each willful obstruction, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 44. He has a Owens Avenue address now instead of what's in Odyssey. So he'll make sure the clerk has the correct mailing address. He gets good mail service there. Past high school, he has an Associate of Arts degree in Business Administration from a Metro Atlanta Technical Institute in Cobb County. He also does interior design, has done so for several years, residential design. So he has design capabilities and training. He's been in Georgia quite a few years, and we would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond. A single bond if that is possible, but a 1,000 surety if it is not. Thank you.
For each charge will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next opposition, 20 and 21, Mr. Nukem.
Courtroom 2, I sent a message to you and ACDC. There's a private attorney here for Sydney Phillips. Is it possible we could address that next after this case?
Yes, ma'am, we can do that.
Okay,
Absolutely, thank you.
Newcomb, you have been charged in case 25 CR 003760G with criminal trespass and bullying and prowling, and in case 25 CR 003761G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
22, got an open obstruction. Pedestrian must walk on the sidewalk. On probation for 2 counts of trespass and damage to property. and he appeared to be homeless. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. The first incident here, position 20, took place June 23rd of 2025 and it was June 24th, 2025. And I'll explain the confusion there. At 2124 Cheshire Bridge Road Northeast in Atlanta. It's the Cheshire Bridge high-rise apartments at the location. Law enforcement interviewed Mr. Melvin Falk, a leasing associate, Miss Yahira Ganji, regarding a habitual trespasser on their apartment property. Both explained that the defendant is homeless and lives out back behind the apartment property. And on June 23rd, just the day prior, the defendant was encountered by Mr. Falk on the property with a friend. And when Mr. Falk asked about his business there, he claimed he was visiting apartment 225. Those units are vacant. That one right there that he referenced, that whole block is vacant. So there was no reason for him to be there. So he was criminally trespassed. And then the next day, on the 24th, he comes back and is walking on the property again, this time carrying a machete. The staff there explained that he often carries a machete when they see him. So that's cause for concern. The defendant was identified through his previous encounter, and a warrant was issued for his arrest at that time. The second incident took place July 2nd of this year at 2124, same location here, Cheshire Bridge Apartments. Law enforcement responded to that location in reference to the previously criminally trespassed defendant. He was squatting inside of a vacant unit this time. And upon arrival, the officer spoke with Miss Ganji again, who explained that she saw a man entering the unit without approval. And when the officer unlocked the door to look into it, saw the defendant in the hallway. He was asked to exit and did comply, and was then placed into custody. You heard about a few criminal trespass probations that he's on, so recent convictions for that. And then you have older disorderly conduct from 2017 that was amended from criminal trespass. Same in 2017 again with a different case. And most recently, I see a conviction for criminal trespass and damage to property from last year, which was at another address just down the street on Cheshire Bridge. Given that there's a risk of reoffense here, and it's concerning that he's walking around with a machete where he's not supposed to be. So the state's recommendation is that the bond remain as set with respect to the criminal trespass charge on position 20. There's already a $2,000 surety set on that, but we've added a loiter prowl charge. And we would ask for a $2,000 surety on that for a total of a $4,000 surety. And with that, social worker visit for BHET, stay away from Cheshire Bridge Apartments at 2124 Cheshire Bridge Road. No further contact with Melvin Falk. No further contact with Yahira Ganji. And that's Yahaira Gangi. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And for position 21, the state's recommendation is that the bond remain as set at $600 surety on the criminal trespass, with the same conditions mentioned previously. The only exception being that no further contact is no mention of Mr. Falk with respect to the most recent case.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, Mr. Newcomb's 31 years old. He's been in Georgia over 15 years, so he's very local. He has the equivalent of a high school education, and he does landscaping work. Your Honor, under these circumstances and considering what we've heard, I would like to ask the court to consider a bond. If not a signature bond, we would of course ask for a signature bond, but if that is not possible or appropriate, we would ask the court to consider a $1,000 to $1,500 total bond in both cases.
Okay, each charge will be a $500 good bond. So for position 20 will be a total of $1,000 good bond. Social worker visit to assess for BHET or housing. Stay away from that incident location. No further contact with Mr. Falk or Ms. Ganji. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. For position number 21 will be a $500 good bond with the same conditions as position number 20. Good luck to you, sir. He has, if he needs to ask a question, Mr. McLean.
I work landscaping. Is there any way y'all could put me in the worker dorm so I could work this off? Because to be a volunteer worker to work this off.
Well, if you don't make bond, sir, you'll see a judge back on July 17th. Okay.
On a trustee floor, so I can just go ahead and work it off, being a trustee.
The court.
I don't have any control over that, sir. Who do we have next?
I have position number 25, Sydney Phillips. That's the private attorney case, Judge.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Phillips. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003765G with disorderly conduct and simple battery. It's my understanding that this is Ms. Phillips's first arrest.
This is Marie Watson. I'm her attorney.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Watson. I'm so sorry I did not know that you were here for Ms. Phillips this afternoon. Otherwise, I would have tried to address you sooner, but we appreciate you being here this afternoon. Mr. Sirocco.
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place April 14th, 2025 at 7840 Sonoya Road in Fairburn. It's the Zaxby's there. Law enforcement was dispatched in reference to a dispute between a customer and an employee. Upon arrival, officer observed the victim, Mr. Christopher Deans, out of his vehicle, and he was yelling at employees. The officer made contact with the victim, who explained that the defendant told him he was going to give her money, but ended up paying with his phone. Then he stated that the defendant snatched the phone out of his hand and tried to throw a drink at him, then grabbed another drink from a different customer and threw it at his vehicle. And the defendant explained that the victim ordered a beverage and a meal, and she had asked for a card to pay, and he had his phone instead. And that the victim tried to snatch his phone, I guess, back from her, and as well as the drink, but she then grabbed the phone, drink back, and it spilled, at which point she admitted she took another customer's drink and threw it at him. So that hit him and what sounds like his vehicle as well. The defendant claimed that the victim threatened her, and the manager, however, stepped over and explained that he saw the customer get out of his vehicle and observed the employee throw the drink at Mr. Deans. The victim confirmed that he did want to press charges and a warrant, and the defendant was, a warrant was issued for the defendant's arrest here. He indicated that he wanted to press it, I believe, at a later date. We've spoken with the defense, and we have agreed to a signature bond through the jail with no further contact with Christopher Deans and stay away from the Zaxby's at the location, 7840 Sonoya Road, due to the defendant's lack of history here and the nature of the incident. Also, it's my understanding that she no longer works at Zaxby's. Ms. Watson, can you confirm?
I'm not able to confirm that, but I believe she's not working.
Okay. We would sound for Mr. Deans at this time. We have not spoken with him, but we will continue those efforts.
Mr. Deans is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Yes, Ms. Watson.
Okay, my client is 19 years old. She has no priors. We're asking that she be allowed to be released on a no contact, SR bond, SOR bond, excuse me, and that should just be released, a signature bond, I'm sorry. That should be released on the signature bond.
Okay. Given that that's the recommendation of the state as well, for the disorderly, it will be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the simple battery, a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Phillips. Anything further this afternoon, Ms. Watson?
Nothing further, sorry.
Enjoy
Thank you
your
so much.
holiday. Enjoy your holiday.
I will, thank you. You also.
Thank you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
I have position number 22, Oak.
Good afternoon, Ms. Oakes. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003762A with simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
8th arrest, 2022 probation, 2021 possession of cocaine and meth, 2018 possession of cocaine and meth, false ID document conviction, 2017 possession of marijuana, shoplifting conviction.
Thank you. Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge. So this one took place February 2nd of this year at 66 Roswell Court in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a 911 call regarding a domestic dispute, and upon arrival made contact with the caller, and that's Miss Emmeline Oakes, the second victim here, who explained that the defendant, his sister, had assaulted her and their mother, Miss Twyla Oakes. The defendant was no longer on scene when officers arrived, and Emmeline explained that a verbal disagreement started out between her and the defendant and their mother at the location. The two victims here, Emmeline and Twyla, tried to leave by getting in their car with Emmeline in the passenger seat, Twyla driving. While they were backing out of the parking spot, the defendant ran up to the car and started punching them through the driver's side window, which it was rolled down at the time. The defendant struck Emmeline on her right hand several times, punched Twyla on her right arm multiple times. They both stated they wanted to prosecute the incident, and a warrant was issued for the defendant's arrest. We have spoken with Miss Twyla Oakes, not Emmeline as of yet. We'll continue those efforts, but she confirmed that she is the defendant's mother, that she explained that there's something every day where the defendant will be acting out and breaking things, and explained that the defendant would always threaten to kill them as well. The Miss Oakes explained that during the incident, the defendant came out of nowhere while her window was down, reached in, trying to drag her out of the car, and ended up scratching her, and then got the window up, and then at which point the defendant was trying to break the window, and then proceeded to try to rip her license plate off. And she explained that her daughter's angry because she wants money, and she is upset because the owner of the home and her ex-boyfriend who rents the home told her she was no longer welcome. She explained that the defendant is a habitual drug user, usually methamphetamine, and she believes she was under the influence during the incident. Meth is the biggest problem, though there are other drugs. She really wants her daughter to get help for that. She explained also that the defendant called her out from jail last night and cursed her out. And from our listening in on the jail calls, it is clear that that is the case. Just as well, it's clear that the defendant continues to blame the victim for her being in jail. So even right now, she is upset at the victim. So the state's recommendation for this case, given the constant issues they're having, we think there's a risk of reoffense, damage to property here, and a risk to the victims involved, at least until she can get these issues with addiction underway. State's recommendation is $4,000 total surety, $2,000 on each, for her to complete ADET. FFib, have no further contact with Emmeline Oaks or Twyla Oaks. Stay away from 66 Roswell Court in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I believe I saw Miss Oaks on, if we could sound for her at this time, and just as well for Emmeline, if she was able to make it and wishes to speak.
Twyla Oaks, I see you on the line. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity. If so, I'll need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera for me.
Okay.
And raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can place your hand down. Thank you, Miss Oaks. What would you like to tell the court?
Well, unfortunately, as you said, this is my daughter. I love her. I care about her. I don't, did not want to see this happen or her to end up in jail, naturally. Because initially, I believe I told the officers that came out originally that I didn't want to press charges. And the original victim advocate I spoke to, I also reemphasized that I really didn't want to see that. I just wanted her to get some kind of help. But unfortunately, just her hostilities continue towards me, or anytime she can't seem to get what she needs or what she is trying to accomplish. So that's just my only concern. She does still come around to this address occasionally, asking for things. I mean, it hasn't been in a violent manner recently, but it just depends, I guess. Like I said, my biggest concern is I'd like to have her get some help.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Oaks. I appreciate you being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Oaks is 34. She's a Georgian all her life. I have a contact for friends. I've got Matheson or Mathiason Drive is a good mailing address for her and a place where she can stay. So geography is no problem. She's a high school graduate from 2009 locally. And she's a finance manager at our corporation. We would ask the court to consider the as possible bond for her under these circumstances, and given what we've heard. If that could be a signature bond, that would be great. But if it cannot be a signature bond, we would like the court to consider 1,000 total surety bond.
Okay, for each charge will be $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Social worker visit to assess for BHET. I want her to have an alcohol drug evaluation and any treatment that's necessary as well. This time, no further contact with Emmeline or Twyla Oaks. Stay away from their residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both, Miss Oakses.
Next, Judge, I have position number 8, Ms. Gaither.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Gaither. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003753E with simple battery, family violence, criminal trespass, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, and unlawful to possess, display, or use any false, fraudulent, or altered identification document. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
There's a 2022 trespass dismissed.
Ms. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened July 2nd, 2025 at 3300 College Street in College Park. The defendant was sitting in the driver's seat of Kenyon Tull's vehicle and was attempting to retrieve, and Mr. Tull was attempting to retrieve his wallet. Mr. Tull then took the defendant's purse, dumped the contents on the roadway. His wallet and a partially smoked joint fell out of her purse, and then the defendant began chasing Mr. Tull in the presence of the officers and striking him in the presence of the officers. At that point, the officers put the defendant into custody, and when collecting the items from her purse, located a Georgia ID card in the name of Pluto Stevens, which was clearly fraudulent. They spoke to the defendant about it, and she stated she knew it was fraudulent and kept it anyway. We did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Tull. He says they've been on and off again for about 5 to 6 months. And he initially said the charges were incorrect and the defendant did not hit him. But then when we explained that the officers had actually observed her hitting him, he did not have really anything further to say. He does want her to get anger management, and we are asking for an SOB through pretrial services, 3 days of anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no further violent contact with Kenyon Tull. We are in agreement with them continuing to have contact. She does have a hold from College Park that she's going to have to address before she gets out of jail. We would like to sound at this time for Mr. Kenyon Tull, and that's all for the state.
Mr. Tull is to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Any objections to any of the state's requests, Ms. Tucker?
We have no objections to the state's recommendations at this time.
And as such, for the simple battery will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For each of the other charges, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 3 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Tulls, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Gaither.
Thank you. I did it.
You as well, ma'am.
Next is position 3, Mr. Bridgeford.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bridgeford. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003751E with battery family violence, 2 counts of simple battery family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is your history, Mr. Howard?
It's 4. We got an open battery DV from this year. 25 CR 001477E. Same victim. That's a pretrial bond. I forgot the amount because it's a split bond, but it'll be surrendered. I got a 2023 assault out of the Army. 2018 disorderly conduct conviction, and 2024 failure to obey a general. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor, and I can give Your Honor and pretrial the breakdown on that. The previous bond was on case 25 CR 001477E. It was a simple battery, family violence, and a reckless conduct. That was a $3,500 split bond, $2,500 pretrial services bond on the simple battery, $1,000 surety bond on the reckless conduct. And that was given by Judge Law on March 22nd of 2025. This incident happened less than 4 months after he bonded out on that charge. In this case, Your Honor, the incident happened June 26, 2025. Officers spoke with Ms. Holly Bridgeford. She stated she had been having an argument with the defendant who had taken her phone. She attempted to retrieve her phone. The defendant pushed her to the ground and then struck her in the head with his fist. He then picked her up and dropped her onto the floor of their 1-year-old son's room, VB, in front of their 1-year-old son. Ms. Bridgeford did have a bruise on her forearm. When questioned, the defendant claimed she quote unquote accidentally fell when reaching for his cell phone, that he quote unquote accidentally fell on her, and that she quote unquote accidentally struck her. He accidentally struck her in the head with his arm. What I find interesting about this is the previous case where he was alleged to have choked her while she was driving. He also claimed in that case that he accidentally hit her in the neck with his arm. So there tends to be a lot of accidents in this household, Your Honor. I will state that we did have an opportunity to speak with Ms. Bridgeford. She stated that she and the defendant have been married since 2023. They do share a child. She is pregnant with their second child. And when this incident happened, he was in fact aware that she was pregnant. And so not only did he put her in danger and commit violence against her, against their 1-year-old child, he also did so while she was pregnant with a child as well. She stated that she stated that the same officers that responded to the last incident responded to this incident, which actually the officers did take note of in their report. And she is unsure kind of how she wants to proceed at this point. I will state that the state's recommendation on this case is a $4,000 cash bond, $1,000 per count, that the defendant stay away from the 2105 Southwood Boulevard Southwest address in Atlanta, Georgia, and no further contact with Holly Bridgeford. There's such a short amount of time between the first incident and this incident. The state has some real concerns, especially given how the defendant keeps contextualizing the violent contact. We do have some real concerns that this is escalating, and with her being with child, I'm very concerned not only for her safety, but the safety of her unborn child. We would like to, at this time, sound for Holly Bridgeford. Nothing more for the state.
Ms. Falk, I take it that Judge Law's order was a no further violent contact. Is that right?
It was, Your Honor. She also ordered FVIP within 30 days of release and report to pretrial services 1 time per week. I'm not sure if Mr. Howard can tell us if he actually did attend pretrial service FVIP. He should have been in classes for at least the last 3 months based on the court's order.
Thank you. Let's see, Miss Holly Bridgeford, I see you on the line. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to activate your camera and unmute yourself if you choose to address the court this afternoon. Okay, it doesn't appear that Miss Bridgeford would like to address the court. Miss Tucker?
Yes, Mr. Bridgeford is 23 years of age. He's resided in the Atlanta area for the last 7 or 8 months with his wife and child. He's completed his high school education and he's planning to enroll in college this upcoming fall. He's currently employed at Georgia Tech as a commercial HVAC tech, as well as serving in the Marines in the reserve. He was previously on active duty in the Marines for 4 years, and as I previously stated, currently serving in the reserves. He does have 1 minor child and a pregnant wife. We are requesting a $1,000 surety bond for the charges on his behalf. He does have a limited criminal history with only 4 cycles. He does not have any prior failure to appears on his record. So we don't feel that a cash bond would be appropriate for these charges. So again, we are requesting the lowest surety bond that the court will allow in this matter.
Okay, for the battery will be a $5,000 good bond. For each of the simple batteries, a $2,000 good bond. For the cruelty, a $1,000 good bond. Makes for a total of a $10,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Bridgeford. Stay away from her residential address. He can go back to that address on 1 occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, third-party transfer of any minor children, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If he has not started that FVIP as ordered in the other case, he's to start that within the next month. Good luck to you, sir.
Next judge, I have position number 23, Ms. O'Neill.
Good afternoon, Ms. O'Neill. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003763F with battery against a female who is pregnant, battery, and simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
3rd, 2011, suspended license, 2010, shoplifting.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place April 20th, 2025 at 3240 West Manor Circle, Southwest in Atlanta. It's West Manor Park. Law enforcement responded to an injured person, or a person injured during a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the victim, Miss Lakeisha James, who explained that after she'd been invited by her child's father's family to an event that they were hosting at the park, that she had walked over to her child's father's family and engaged in cordial conversation, at which point the defendant struck her in the face with an open hand, resulting in visible injury to her lip. It was swelling that the officer observed. Investigator reached out to the victim. She provided, again, the same account as the original report. A photo was sent to the victim, who ID'd the defendant as the person who struck her, and a warrant was issued for the defendant's arrest. We've spoken with Miss James here. She stated she is in a relationship with the defendant's brother, but says the incident didn't really involve her, at least at first. It was between the defendant and the victim's sister. The defendant was looking to purchase something from her sister. She called the defendant to let her know that the purchase was no longer going to happen. Then the defendant was still trying to make the purchase and met her sister at a nail shop and gave her money for the items, but never got the items. They got into an altercation, those two did, and the victim here was trying to break that up. She explains that after she broke it up, she was walking away, and that is when the defendant then attacked her by punching her in the face, and states also that she threw a beer bottle at her. She doesn't understand why the defendant attacked her, given that she's clearly pregnant with the defendant's nephew and that they never had any issues. She states that she even encouraged her sister to give the defendant the money back. She's no longer pregnant and gave birth last week. She didn't provide us any input on the bond, and I don't believe she's on, but we would nonetheless ask the court sound for her. State's recommendation here is a $5,000 total surety, $3,000 on the battery against a pregnant woman, $1,500 on the battery and $500 on the simple battery, on account of this being a deliberate retaliation against nothing. Only peaceable actions on the part of the victim. State's recommending as well 2-day anger awareness, no further contact with Lakeisha James, stay away from 3240 West Manor Circle, Southwest Atlanta, and stay away from the victim's home and work. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Lakeisha James is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, thank you, Your Honor. 35-year-old Miss O'Neill is a high school graduate locally. She has worked at the same large retail store for the last 10 years or more. She has a stable apartment where she lives with 3 children whose ages are 17, 16, and 10. We asked the court to consider the lowest possible bond in this matter, a surety bond or a 1,000 total. I'm sorry, a signature bond or a 1,000 total surety if the signature is not possible.
Okay, for the battery against a female who is pregnant, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the battery, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. With a simple battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 2 days anger awareness. No further contact with Ms. James. Stay away from Ms. James's residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. O'Neill.
Next is position 9, Mr. Gay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gay. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0037522Y with criminal trespass. The history, Mr. Howard.
23. It's a lot. Open trespass obstruction. 25 CR 003-259Y. Open trespass. I got 24 PI 006-905. I got a trespass arrest from March 2024. June 2023. On probation for trespass obstruction. On probation for another trespass. On probation for entering auto. 23 SC 190550. On probation for the 2024 trespass obstruction. 24 CR 005-311Y. 2025 fade to appear.
Thank you, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant currently has a $600 bond set by the magistrate court on this case. On this date, July 1st, 2025, the defendant entered the Citgo Food Mart and gas station at 2000 Delow Drive, Southwest in Atlanta. The employee called 911 to report he was again on the property and refusing to leave, and then he was placed under arrest. The defendant has arrests at that same location from June 9th, 2025, February 21st, 2025, October 27th, 2024, June 21st, 2024, June 5th, 2024, May 22nd, 2024, and April 20th, 2024. We are asking that the bond remain as set, the $600 surety bond. Stay away from the Citgo, located at 2000 Delow Drive in Atlanta, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. That's all for the state.
Ms. Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Gay is a 26-year-old Atlanta native. He was able to provide me with a residential address that he's maintained for the last 7 years. He has a high school education. He's currently not employed full-time, but he does do some side work with his father when he can. He is currently a part of the PAD program. We have no objections to stay away from the Citgo gas station at the incident location. We are requesting a signature bond on behalf of Mr. Gay. He's not able to make bond on the $600 surety that's been set. So that is what we're requesting on his behalf.
Ms. Falk, do you know if any of those previous bonds were my bonds, or if there were any conditions set on those bonds? There's obviously something going on with Mr. Gay, and
the state would also request, and I keep forgetting to do this, a social worker visit on this case as well.
I think you had him for SAP at one point, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that earlier.
Okay.
So his most recent case was that criminal trespass in 2024, and that was handled by Judge Williams. Judge Law gave the bond on that. That was a $1,000 surety bond. Before that, there was a June 22nd, 2024 case that was handled by Your Honor on July 11th of 2024. Your Honor handled the plea on that case. Let me see. I believe you may have also done the bond order, being that it usually syncs up that way. Let me just take a really quick look. Nope, that was Judge Mincy on June 22nd of 2024. So you did handle one of his previous pleas, Your Honor, but I don't see where you actually granted a bond for him previously.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, Your Honor, sorry, take it back. You did. April 22nd, 2024. There was a third criminal trespass case. Your Honor granted him a $500 surety bond, and he also did that plea in front of Your Honor. And let me see the conditions of that bond. In the order, it says that $500 surety bond. Defendant should stay away from the Citgo gas station at 2000 DeLow Drive.
Okay. Well, let's have him have a social worker visit. Ms. Tucker, there's obviously something going on, so if you will, have the SAP attorneys report back. I mean, if he keeps coming back, he keeps taking a plea and he keeps going back, then we need to do something, something
He
more
did tell
than.
me that he also does some, I guess, under the table work at a store that's located directly behind the Citgo. I don't know if it's him crossing over onto their property or what, but that may be what's bringing him to that location. But I did explain explicitly that he needs to stop going to that location, and he is very agreeable. But I do believe that may be what's driving him to the area, working at the store behind the Citgo.
This sounds familiar to me, and the explanation sounds familiar to me. But we have to make sure that stops so he doesn't keep coming back here. So I'm going to leave the bond the same for right now, the $600 good bond, social worker visit, to assess for BHET, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, and of course, stay away from that Citgo on DeLow Drive. All
Thank
right.
you.
Good luck to you, Mr. Gay. You're welcome.
Next, Judge, I have position number 11, Precious Hester.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Hester. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003746E with simple battery against a police officer and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? Were you
13.
able to? Okay, okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, I got both of the Hesters. P.
Okay,
Hester is 13. Open case out of Elbert County obstruction. First offender probation in Douglas County for ag assault. On probation out of Coweta County for simple battery. 2024 probation, FTA. 2022 obstruction conviction. 2019 trespass conviction. She's wanted out of Coweta.
thank you. Ms. Falk?
Mr. Howard, when you said she's wanted as out of Coweta, do you know if they have an open hold on her at the jail?
I have to look at the booking.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I can check the booking. My apologies. I didn't want to give you something extra to do. This incident happened December 14th of 2024. Officers responded to 7975 Sonoya Road in Fairburn. They spoke. Miss Hester was leaving the apartment complex. They made contact with her. She stated, let's see.
Yeah, it's
They
on
made
there. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's on Odyssey.
Oh,
The
okay.
whole, the whole.
Great. They made contact with her and got her information, and a warrant came back from Douglas County Sheriff's Office. They went to try to arrest Ms. Hester. She began pulling away from them. Officers were able to get handcuffs on her and take her to the ground. She was still resisting, and so they had to use, I believe, they did not have to use a taser, but they were finally able to get her into custody. And then the reason it took so long to come back to us is then once they had her in custody, they turned her over to the deputies over in Douglas County. So they met with the Douglas County Sheriff Office deputy and turned her over to this deputies over in Douglas County. They then subsequently went ahead and took out warrants on her for the simple battery. She also spit on the officer as he was trying to take her into custody. So they took out a warrant for simple battery for the spitting, and then obstruction of a law enforcement officer for the scuffling with the officer. The bond is currently set at $2,500 through the magistrate court on the simple battery with an officer and $1,000 on the willful obstruction. We are agreeable to reducing that to a $1,500 surety bond, $1,000 for the simple battery, $500 for the willful obstruction, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and that's all for the state.
Sure.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Hester is 31 years of age. She's been living in the Atlanta area. Although she's not a native, she's been here since 2004. She's maintained the same residence here for 5 years. She has a high school education. And prior to her arrest in December, she maintained a job at a Dunkin' Donuts. And she's been informed that her job is still on standby upon her release. She has been incarcerated since the incident date of December 14th, 2024. So due to this, we are requesting a signature bond on her behalf, or the lowest bond that the court will allow in this matter. She hasn't had any income to pay a $1,500 surety bond at this time. So we are requesting a signature bond on her behalf.
Okay, for the simple battery will be $1,000 good bond. For the obstruction, a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Hester.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Anyone else there at ACDC today?
No, that's it. We're completed. Thank you, Judge.
Okay,
Well,
we'll see you.
actually, ACDC, really quickly, do you have Miss McCulla there?
I'm sorry, you're going in and out. Say that one more time.
No,
My
Miss-
apologies. You
she's
have Miss Sharon
still-
McCulla.
She's still at the main jail. It's fall.
Okay, what about Miss Jakira Hester?
Yeah, she's right here.
Okay, just
ready
wanted
for
to
her.
make sure she wasn't over at ACDC. Those are our two add-ons.
Are you ready for her?
Okay, thanks,
we can-
Francois. We'll see you next time.
Thank
My-
you.
Your Honor.
Okay.
Quarter
Yes.
two, yes, we can do Jakira Hester. Miss Vaughn sent out an add-on calendar, Your Honor.
Okay, I have it. Thank you.
How many add-ons we supposed to have?
So far, we only have two add-ons, Jakira Hester, and then we have a add-on for Miss Sharon McCulla. I can't seem to get that one filed down because the magistrate number won't unlink from it. So I did send the physical documents to the clerk to see if we could get it filed manually.
Okay, because I'm only showing one.
Right, I understand. I've been sending emails back
Okay,
and
no
forth, just
problem.
letting everyone know I can't seem to get it unlinked. So I'm trying to get it filed down manually because I don't want to have to stay through the holiday.
I understand.
Work out. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so did you have something before I proceed, Mr. McLean?
Maureen McLeod is available to jump back in if y'all would like for her to interview Sharon McCulla.
Okay, can someone get in touch with Miss Grace? Can you get in touch with Miss McLeod?
Yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so this is the add-on, Miss Jakira Hester. Miss Hester, you've been charged in case 25 CR 003767C with theft by deception. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
What's the name, Judge? I'm on the phone with IT. I'm sorry.
You're fine. This is Hester, the add-on.
J. Hester, 11 total. 2024 felony eluding police conviction. 2024 failure to appear, no low. 2 2023 FTAs and a 2020 shoplifting conviction.
Thank you. Ms. Fall?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, this incident happened July 2nd, 2025 at 3464 Roxborough Road. Officers spoke with Jakira Hester. She stated she had met a male, Jamil Benjamin, via Instagram and asked him for a ride from Decatur, Georgia, to a location on the west side of Atlanta. She stated that he drove her to 3464 Roxborough Road and asked her to get an apartment in her name because he was a felon. They then spoke to Mr. Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin actually explained that there had been messages between the two of them agreeing for him to pick her up so that he could help her to help him get an apartment. He was also able to provide ATM statements showing that he withdrew a total of $800 to give to Miss Hester as payment. And he gave her the money before they arrived at that location. And once they spoke with the leasing agent, the leasing agent explained that Miss Hester was touring the apartment and began the application process and began to act suspicious. And then when police arrived on the scene, that's when she told the police that she was being forced against her will to put an apartment in her name. And it wasn't until Mr. Benjamin was able to show all of the text messages between the two that the officers were able to determine that she was essentially running a scam and trying to scam Mr. Benjamin out of $800. We do ask for a surety bond in this case, based not on her actual criminal history, but mainly based on her FTAs. We are asking for a $1,000 surety bond. That is a reduction from the magistrate court's recommendation of a $10,000 surety bond. We are also asking that she have no further contact with Mr. Jamil Benjamin, and that she stay away from the apartment complex, which is located at 3464 Roxborough Road in Atlanta, Georgia. We would like it this time to sound for Mr. Jamil Benjamin if he is here, and that's all for the state.
If Mr. Benjamin is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
And Your Honor, that address is Omley 3464 is the name of the apartment complex.
Is that the one on Roxborough Road?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Who's representing Ms. Hester?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, Ms. Tuffin.
Miss Hester is 25 years of age. She's resided in the Atlanta area for 19 years now. She was able to provide me with a residential address that she's maintained for the last 2 years. She has an associate's degree in business administration, and she is currently enrolled in a nursing program at Georgia Gwinnett College. She is also employed at a Quick Trip. She's been working there for the last 2 months. We are requesting a signature bond on her behalf, or if not appropriate, we are agreeable to the state's recommendation for the $1,000 surety bond. Ms. Hester does maintain that she is innocent. She did call the police in this instance, letting them know that she was held against her will. She was also searched on the scene as well as during intake, and there was no cash found on her person at either instance. So we are requesting a signature bond on her behalf.
It will be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Mr. Benjamin, stay away from the Roxborough Road address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am. Courtroom 2, do we have the McCulla there that Ms. McLeod needs to interview?
Judge, I was just informed that they left in transit to go to ACDC. So, yeah, I'm not sure when, at what point she will be processed over there, but she's not.
Okay, so she may not make this calendar today. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
It is a first arrest, though, just so you know.
Well, I still have to have, thank you, Mr. Howard. I still have to have her before me.
Can I speak to, I'll just text Miss McLeod. I think maybe we can do a consent bond on this if it's her first arrest. I just really don't want her to have to be in jail.
I understand
Saturday.
this.
Yeah.
And yes, no, ACDC. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Who are we missing? From ACDC?
Go ahead, Ms. Falk.
Miss Sharon McCulla.
I understand this is a mother-daughter situation.
Yes, it is. And apparently she was being transported. She's en route to ACDC.
Okay, give me a few minutes. I'll go down and check, see if she was booked in over here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And in the meantime, maybe Ms. Falk, if you want to try to work it out with Ms. McLeod beforehand, in case she does not make it, I'm willing to consider that consent bond.
I just sent her an offer.
Okay. Thank you. Who do we have next?
Next is position 7, Mr. Flewellyn.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Flewellyn. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003747B with battery, simple battery, and 2 counts of simple battery. Thank you.
21, on probation out of Gwinnett for riot in a penal institution and battery. 2025 probation. 2024 simple battery no load. 06 simple battery conviction. He's wanted out of Gwinnett for trespass.
Thank you, Ms. Thorpe.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on, let's see, July 1st, 2025. Mr. Flewellyn was a patient and was in room 27 with the emergency department. He was being seen for BH issues. He broke free of his wrist restraints and they tried to hold him down and calm him down to prevent him from taking the other restraint off. He then struck one of the nurses, who is Ty Thornton, in the face with a closed fist. He also then struck another individual, Charles Jacques, who's appears to be nurse at the hospital, with a closed fist as well. Mr. Jacques had some minor swelling and bruising as a result of that, which is why the defendant was also charged with a battery. The defendant, this occurred at Emory Hospital at 550 Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. We would like to ask for a social worker visit as part of the state's bond on this case, that the defendant stay away from Emory Hospital unless it's for emergency medicine, or not emergency, unless it's for medical treatment. And we are requesting $1,000 surety bond upon each count for a total of a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Charles Jacques or Mr. Ty Thornton. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. That's all for the state. And we would like to sound for Mr. Charles Jacques and Ty Thornton if they are here today.
If either of those individuals are with us and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Flewellyn is 46 years of age. He has lived in the Atlanta area for 18 years. He has a 9th grade education. He's currently not employed due to being disabled. We have no objections to a stay away from the incident location at Emory Hospital unless going to visit as a patient, as the state recommended. We also have no objections to no contact with Ms. Thornton and Mr. Jacques. We are requesting the lowest bond that the court would allow in this matter on behalf of Mr. Flewellyn.
And I believe that they recommended that he stay away from the hospital unless he's getting treatment,
Right.
as opposed to visiting someone. As such, it will be for the battery, $1,000 good bond. For each of the other charges, a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with the alleged victims. Stay away from Emory Hospital unless he's receiving treatment. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. And a social worker visit to assess for BHET. Good luck to you, sir.
Next oppositions 15 and 16, Mr. Maynard.
Good afternoon, Mr. Maynard. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003755G with 2 counts of simple battery family violence, and in case 25 CR 003756G with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
3rd, 2021 probation. 2017 fleeing an officer driving without a valid license and theft by receiving. 1st offender.
Mr. Sirocco?
Yes, Judge. This incident, the first one here, position 15, took place February 25th, 2025 at 1220 Gun Club Road, Northwest in Atlanta. Appears to be an apartment complex at the location. Law enforcement responded in reference to a domestic violence incident. Made contact with the victim, Miss Azaria Dyson, who explained that she was assaulted by the defendant, who is the father of her child and with whom she's been in a relationship for more than a year. She stated the defendant had become angry with her, as she stated he often does during a verbal altercation, and that the defendant then punched and kicked her body and torso in the living room during the dispute. Officers went inside the apartment, but the defendant was nowhere to be found. Victim confirmed his identity from his Georgia ID photo, and a warrant was issued for his arrest at that time. With respect to the second incident, this one took place yesterday at 3575 Eisenhower Circle, Southeast Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a domestic violence call and upon arrival made contact with the same victim as the case previous, Azaria Dyson, who explained that the defendant had struck her in the face with a closed fist. She explained that she had been traveling from Dallas, Georgia to pick up her child, as she's the custodial parent, and was finished with work for the night. During the pickup, an argument began because she wanted the child's belongings. And during this dispute, the defendant struck her in the face with a closed fist, prompting her to then call the police. She also stated that the defendant has warrants out for his arrest and that he is, quote, he's a runner. While another officer was speaking with the defendant, the officer observed that the defendant began to exhibit elevated behaviors, started pulling away, backing away, but was ultimately placed under arrest without incident here. As pretrial mentioned, he has received first offender treatment for the theft by receiving, interference with government property. I should note that there were originally also 3 counts of aggravated assault on that were dismissed. 2 of them were dismissed, 1 was not presented. And then he is a foreign county hold out of Clayton for what appears to be an assault case from October 7th of last year. So that is what he's being held on also. We've spoken with Ms. Dyson. She states that she and the defendant have been together for 2 years, and they are still living together and share a 16-month-old child. She states that she doesn't remember either incident because she was drinking, and that she is dealing with postpartum and BP disorder, which causes her to drink. She explains that she wants the cases dropped because she needs him home to help with their daughter. We explained that that's not happening. She stated that the defendant has 2 other children with 2 other women, but is not with them after the children's birth. So this is the first time, she states, that he's experiencing being with someone who's going through postpartum. She wants the defendant to have a bond and would like him to get anger management. She states that the defendant is a good father and really needs his help with respect to the child because she has no one else currently, and is worried about losing her job. I should note we have listened to the jail calls here between the defendant and the victim, and it's clear that right now he still blames her and is angry with her for his current situation. She told him she's trying to get him out, and he's cursing up a storm. We would ask the court sound for the victim. I believe she may be on if she wishes to. Given the defendant's history, which does consist of violent offenses, both past and pending charges with that open arrest warrant, at least for assault, and given that you have 2 violent cases here against the same victim, there is a risk of reoffense, a substantial risk of reoffense against her. And while the state is sympathetic with her situation, and we can and will direct her to resources designed for situations like this, where she's in need of such resources, our chief concern is her safety. So in prioritizing that, we'd be asking for no further contact and a stay away from both of the locations here. On position 15, 25 CR 003755G, state's recommendations of $4,000 total surety, $2,000 for each simple battery family violence for incomplete FFIB. Have no further contact with Azaria Dyson. Stay away from 1220 Gun Club Road in Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And on position 16, 25 CR 003756G, state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety. No further contact, again, with the same victim, Miss Azaria Dyson. Stay away from 3575 Eisenhower Circle, Southeast, Atlanta. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And if we could, sound for Miss Dyson at this time.
Since Dyson's on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Hi.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. If you'll raise your right hand for me. I believe it's the other hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
So I would honestly, like I said, I believe this is like his first time dealing with somebody with postpartum. He kind of, I'm not gonna lie, is getting it worse from me. Due to me already having a BPD disorder, bipolar personality disorder, that I have been diagnosed with since I was 13. Truthfully speaking, I have not been taking my medication for that since I was 17 probably, and I have been going in and out having episodes and things of that nature, which I know involves like provoking and like, antagonizing people and stuff of that nature, like, to kind of get a reaction out of them. Also, I think it was a misconfusion. I don't live at 3575 Eisenhower Circle. That's his address. My daughter was with him, has been with him, because I work 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon out in Dallas, Georgia with my mother. So he keeps her during the week and I come visit on the weekends to come see her. So I'm honestly just asking for a bond to get him out. I don't receive no government assistance. No matter how many times I apply, I keep getting denied, saying I'm making too much money. I'm not making enough money to really provide for myself or my daughter, such as childcare, which is why he plays a big role. I don't really have no support at all. My siblings are younger than me, so they wouldn't be trustworthy to watch a baby that is active and, always on the go every day, all day. He played a big role for me in that part. I'm not going to lie. By just having her, I can't pay $300 a week for daycare. It's hard. I honestly do feel like we have been under stressful situations and we both don't know how to handle our emotions. I'm going out to seek help. I am asking that he does get anger management, possibly, if that could be okay. Also alcoholism, like programs for that of that nature to kind of just help him out with his anger and with drinking. Other than that, he is a great dad, a great provider. Me and him, we get along really good. It's just the arguments that we do have turn big for no reason and they be very, very small. But other than that, that's all I would like to say.
And with that, Judge, the state would recommend as well alcohol drug evaluation and any treatment. And we would just want to reiterate that, in addition to this being 2 cases, the second of those cases was yesterday. So this is a fresh incident. There hasn't been a cool-off period. That's with respect to no further contact, Judge.
Okay. Mr. McClain?
Your Honor, Mr. Maynard has an 11th grade education and works very hard. He's been in retail for years and years, and of course, he's obviously got plenty of community contacts. He does have that hold, which would be a problem. We would ask the court to set the lowest possible bond in this situation, given what we've heard. If that is a signature bond, that would be great. If it is not a signature bond, we would ask the court to go into the area of 1,000 to 2,000 surety.
All right, for position 15 will be $1,000 good bond per charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. 5 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Dyson, stay away from her residential address, third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation or caregiving, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. For position 16 will be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Dyson, stay away from her residential address, third-party transfer, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Orr. Next is position 24, Mr. Orr. You on one of them? Yeah, they're on break.
Good afternoon, Mr. Orr. You've been charged in case 25 CR 003764C with 2 counts of forgery in the 4th degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
2018 probation. Had a 2018 trespass dismissed, 16 simple battery dismissed. He had a 04 CWAC conviction. That's it.
Mr. Siraka?
Yes, Judge, this incident took place September 2nd of last year at 645 State Street, Atlanta. This case was referred by the Stockbridge Police Department. The victim in this case, Miss Paula Snowden, had written a check for $59.67 to Atlanta Alarm LLC and sent it through the mail. On September 2nd of 2024, the victim was notified by Wells Fargo that someone had cashed the check in the amount of $859.67. The check was written out to Christopher Roundtree of Noonan, who is identified as the defendant. In reality, he had altered the payee to Christopher Roundtree and also altered the amount to be in the 800s. Through investigation, which includes video surveillance and facial recognition, it was determined that Christopher Roundtree was the defendant sitting before you, and a warrant was issued for the defendant's arrest. We have reached out to Miss Snowden and have not heard from her as of yet. We will continue those efforts and would nonetheless ask the court sound for her if she is online and wishes to speak. State's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, anti-theft course, and no further contact with Miss Paula Snowden, as well as no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Ms. Snowden is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean?
No objection.
For each charge will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Snowden. Stay away from her residential address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Orr. Let's see, courtroom 2, it's my understanding that position 5 has been released, is that right?
Yes, Judge.
What about position 6?
Honestly, this is my first time seeing position 6 because he was not on the full sheet this morning. So I didn't have any information on him. Canty?
Has anyone spoken with Mr. Canty?
I called the jail to speak with Mr. Canty, and they told me the same thing, that he wasn't on the pull sheet, that they were going to grab him. I still have not heard back, but I did call twice. So I'm not sure what's going on and why I haven't been able to speak with them.
Can we see if we can find him, courtroom 2?
Shelley, what is he charged with?
Theft by taking misdemeanor, 2 counts of willful obstruction. He has a $3,000 surety bond set. He was arrested yesterday and booked in yesterday at it says 8:15 a.m. So I'm not sure. I mean, the support staff member I work with added him onto our calendar, and when I went and checked, he is.
Yeah, he should have been on
been
the
on
pull
this
sheet.
calendar.
Yeah.
He should have been on this pull sheet.
Hold on, let me see something. You said Canty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I got a history for him. Okay. I was just
Okay.
making sure because they get him.
So courtroom 2, are we able to see if we can round him up?
We're looking him up now, Judge, and then Mr. McLean said he'll interview him if we can find him.
Okay. What about position 17, Mr. McCoy?
17 is going to be a medical reset.
Okay, that's medical until 7/5. And that would leave us with McCulla. Any word from ACDC or on a consent?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss McLeod, she is still here. Okay. Miss McLeod and I have agreed to a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Brittany McCulla, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. I believe, and please let me know if I'm incorrect, Your Honor, did you order for Brittany McCulla no further violent contact with Sharon McCulla? I thought you
he
did,
did.
but I just wanted to double check.
It was no further violent contact.
Okay. I just wanted to make their no contact provisions the same, whatever they were.
Okay, thank you. So we are waiting on just Canty. While we're waiting, Ms. Bridgewater.
Yes,
Can we go through the calendar?
we can. Okay, position number 1 is reset further notice with a total $25,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar, which by the way is July 17th, with a total $10,000 good bond. Position 4 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5 is reset further notice the defendant has been released. Position number 6 we're holding on. Position number 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 8, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial.
What's the contact on that one?
Hold on, let me go back.
Since you already on there.
Okay, it's no further violent contact.
Thank you.
Okay. Position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a $600 good bond. Position 10 is reset to the SAP calendar for the 17th of July. 11 is going to the SAP.
Ms. Bridgewater, is that the 15th?
Yes, you have it for the 15th. Position 10, yes.
Yes,
SAP
okay.
for July 15th.
Thank you.
Okay, now for position 11, we're going to the SAP calendar for July 17th with a total $1,500 good bond. Position 12, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 13 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $5,000 good bond. 15 and 16 are both going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond on each. 17 is reset to the C calendar for July 5th. Position 18 is Position 18 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 19 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. 20 SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. 21 SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. 22 SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond.
Is that no contact?
On that one, no further contact. That is correct. With both Twyla Oaks and Emmeline Oaks. 23 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 24 is reset further notice with a total $10,000 SOB through pretrial. 25 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through the jail. And we had an add-on that I found somewhere here. I'll tell you in a minute. Okay, here it is. For Jakira Hester, she's going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. And that's all I have for now.
Okay. And McCulla 1,000 jail, correct?
Is that the one where that was the consent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
1,000 signature bond through the jail. No
Now,
further.
is that one a part of the add-on?
It came in the second one.
Okay.
It will
Yeah.
be. They did a second add-on calendar that they sent to us, and we are requesting we are consenting to a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Brittany McCulla.
And how many charges were there on that one?
Just one. It was
Okay.
the criminal trespass and damage to property.
Okay, I just hadn't had a chance to look at it yet. And repeat that bond amount for me again.
$1,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Holly, the second add-on that came, it got both of them on there.
Both of them on it. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
I had to
Thank
go
you all.
reprint it.
Tell you, teamwork makes the dream work. All right, so we're holding.
Mr. Chanis, I see your message in the chat. This is a jail calendar. If you want to come on video and speak with me about it, I'm happy to see where you're supposed to be. Mr. Chanis or DeMar Chanis? Okay, I'd like to address your concern here. You said you hadn't been called yet, but.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here.
Okay, yeah, are you a defendant in a case, Mr.
Yeah,
Chanis?
yes, pretty much. So I pretty much was just filing for my rights against my kid's mother. So I don't know. They told me that the Zoom court was at 9 o'clock today. I was on there at 9 o'clock today, and I've been on here ever since 9 o'clock.
Okay, that might have been the state all-purpose calendar. Who was the defendant in the case?
It's my kid's mom, Winter Ward.
Ms. Falk, were you on the SAP calendar?
Hey, I'm here. I got a text message actually from my mom. DeMar Chanis, he reached out and said that we had court or whatever for today or whatever. I do know that I'm scheduled to appear in court in Atlanta next week on the 9th at 2 p.m. So I do plan to be present then. And then I do believe all this family court, everything is supposed to be addressed within. So today's court, I was unaware of. I wasn't aware of court today until just morning, like 1 o'clock just morning in Los Angeles time. So I don't know that you're my judge, but I'm supposed to speak with you in person when I come out there next week. So this is new to me. If he filed for his rights, that's fine. That's okay. I'm currently right now in the primary caregiver.
Okay, hold on, Ms. Ward. I don't know what either of you are speaking
Judge,
of.
it's July 9th, Judge Taylor courtroom. at 2 o'clock on Wednesday.
Okay, so you all have a different judge. I'm not sure why you're here with us this afternoon, but you all should make sure that you go to Judge Taylor on next week.
On next week, what day?
July 9th.
Thank you.
You
2
said July
p.m.
9th?
2 p.m.
Thank you.
And that's an arraignment calendar.
Thank you.
All right, you all are free to go. Have a safe weekend.
You too, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Srocco, Ms. Falk, for helping the court with that. And is this Mr. Canty that we have?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, we'll proceed when Mr. McLean is ready.
And Your Honor, is it okay if Mr. Sirocco is excused? This last case is mine.
Of course, and Ms. McLeod as well. You all both have a happy holiday tomorrow. Be safe.
Thank you, Your Honor. Same to you.
Thank you.
We're ready, Judge.
It was a mistake, Mark. At least I wasn't. He's just gonna give it.
Okay, Mr. Canty, good afternoon. You have been charged in case 25 CR 003754J with theft by taking and 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
35 total between Georgia and Florida. Hold on. Go to the Georgia first.
But sir,
2024 probation. Yeah, the 2024 theft by taking that was dismissed. 2024 Clayton County trespass NOLO. 2023 trespass conviction that was in front of you in SAP. 2022 obstruction on Marta. 2021 battery DV. Hold on. For the disposition.
I wasn't on Marta.
Pled NOLO to simple battery and hindering 911 call from 2021. Hold on. The battery DV was a conviction from 2021 as well. As far as Florida, yeah, the 2022 battery DV, the charges were dropped. He had a strong armed robbery conviction from 2015 out of Florida. I got a burglary conviction and a grand theft and a 3rd degree conviction from 2012. You want me to keep going?
Thank you, Mr. Howard.
Okay.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the victim, Mr. Victor Tran, had reported he had taken his bike to the Lennox Marta bike station, to the Lennox Marta station at around 8 a.m., went to work, came back, the bike tires from his bike had been removed. They got on the CCTV, they were able to show the defendant remove the tires from the bike and board a train. They then sent out a picture of the defendant to the entire department, and the next day, the defendant was seen matching the description, carrying 2 bike tires. They then attempted to place him into custody. He refused the lawful commands of the police officers, kept refusing to place his hands behind his back, and that's what led to the 2 willful obstruction. It was 2 different officers. The state, the bond is currently set at a $3,000 surety bond, $1,000 per count. The state is agreeable to a $1,500 surety bond, $500 per count, We are also requesting the defendant have no further contact with Victor Tran and stay away from all MARTA stations. That's all for the state, and that is based on his extensive history. That is all for the state. We would like to sound at this time for Mr. Victor Tran if he is here. And that's all.
Mr. Tran, if you're with us and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, my client would like me to ask for a signature bond if that is possible. He has jobs in the construction area. He deals with rebar. That's infrastructure, of course, for pouring concrete, literal physical infrastructure for the concrete to be poured onto. He is 37. I've got his emergency number. He is a student in high school, was a student in high school through the 11th grade, and then became very industrious with construction work. He's 37, and he asked the court to consider a signature bond.
It will be a $500 good bond per charge, which makes for a $1,500 good bond. I want him to have a social worker visit to assess for housing or assess for BHET or assist with any housing that he might require. No further contact with Mr. Tran. Abide by any MARTA restrictions. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Canty.
And let me get the level for number 8 again. Gaither. Was it 1?
Yes, I believe it. Yes, it was
Yes,
1.
it will be level 1.
Okay.
Sir,
All right.
I need the signature bond, sir. Sir, that's what my bike tire, sir. The bike tire they arrest me for. They didn't arrest me.
All right, courtroom 2. Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll try to get this paperwork to you as soon as I can.
Very good. You all be safe tomorrow. Anything further, Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. Can I steal you for about 5 minutes? I just wanted to talk to you in the PD's office. We have already addressed the other judges. You're one of the only judges left.
Okay. Okay. How would you like to accomplish that?
We can do it here. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think there's anyone here except for the only person I don't think is court personnel is Latrice's iPhone, but I'm not sure.
Okay, does Latrice's iPhone have any further business with the court? I'm not sure who that is. This something that needs to be on the YouTube?
No, Your Honor, it
Okay,
doesn't.
we can go off the YouTube as well, Ms. Grace. Thank you.